Welcome to Coyote News. The Wellness Center is celebrating its anniversary and the new year with an interesting resolution.
Also, Colin Michaels talks about his year as SGA president and about the annual Shed Days in Pierre.
A preview of this weekend's Super Bowl is also coming up, along with the scoop behind the newest construction project on campus. But first, the headlines.
The people of Madison, South Dakota have been advised by city officials to keep their doors locked while police search for the gunman in a deadly shooting. The shooting occurred around 7:30 last night, just a block away from the DSU campus. Norm Johnson was 72 years old. The suspect is said to be a white male between the ages of 50 and 60, wearing a baseball cap and driving a maroon four-door sedan. The police have no leads to his whereabouts. At least 73 people were left dead and 1,000 injured after a soccer game in Egypt. Fans rushed the field after the home team won an unexpected victory over Egypt's top squad, setting off clashes and a stampede. State TV showed footage in which the Al Ahly players were seen rushing for their locker room as fistfights broke out, while black-clothed police officers stood by appearing overwhelmed. Egypt's state prosecutor ordered an immediate investigation into the violence. President Barack Obama called on Congress today to make it easier for millions of additional homeowners to refinance their mortgages at lower interest rates, even if they owe more than their homes are worth. He acknowledged that his administration's housing plans so far have not lived up to their promise. Obama's proposal would give homeowners with privately held mortgages a shot at record low rates through a new government program. And those are your headlines.
Thanks, Lene. CMJ adjunct Jillian Lesher's been working with South Dakota lawmakers and lobbyists to pass a new bill which would remove the statute of limitations for rape. Lesher is very public about being the victim of a rape as a young teen. She appeared Tuesday in Pierre for testimony in a Senate committee for the new proposal law.
The Wellness Center is new, but it's already had a big impact on campus life. Coyote News' Eric Mayer spoke with the Wellness Center director, Steve Mayer.
The Wellness Center celebrates its one-year anniversary this week. Both the USD and Vermilion communities use the Wellness Center every day. Wellness Center Director Steve Mayer says the Wellness Center has offered great space and times for anyone to work out.
I think the Wellness Center has been has a positive effect on the students. In the Dakota Dome, obviously, was limited with space and had to share the facility with athletics. So the Wellness Center has given the students an opportunity to work out about 116 hours a week that were open, all kinds of times during the day from 5 o'clock in the morning till midnight. So, and then for the community, it really wasn't a Wellness Center type place in Vermilion. They could go and have basketball and a climbing wall and those kinds of things.
Fifth-year student Andrew Grotman says the Wellness Center is more convenient than the Dakota Dome.
I think the best thing about the Wellness Center is when we had to go use the Dome before, they always had to have athlete hours from like 2 to 6, which is sometimes the best time to go lifting. So it's really convenient to have a place that's open for extended hours, any time of the day. When you feel like you need to go get a lift in, you get time in your schedule, you can go. They also have more basketball courts, more bikes, more stuff to use, so it's been really great to be able to have this facility.
For Coyote News, I'm Eric Mayer.
Phase 2 of the Wellness Center has not been scheduled to begin. In less than 30 minutes, Joe Glenn's announcing his first freshman recruiting class as head football coach. Coyote News' Cassie Bartlett is live at the Muck with Coach Glenn. Cassie?
Jerry, I'm here at the Muck with Coach Glenn talking about USD's new recruits. Coach, how will this year's recruiting class compare to previous years?
Well, it's hard for me because I haven't been here for a long time, but all I can tell you is this. We have a terrific class, almost 25 guys. Coaches worked hard. The student athletes recruited hard. The staff and faculty helped us a lot, and the administration gave us a chance to be successful.
Since you haven't been here for very long, only a few months, how did you go about recruiting new players?
Well, we started by putting a staff together, and we kept most of the guys that were here, and then everybody had an area, everybody had an assignment. We made a quota at each position, how many players we wanted. We wanted to end up with about 25 guys, and believe it or not, through offers and offers and offers and all the red tape and all the plate spinning, we ended up about exactly 25 guys, maybe 24, and then we filled in everywhere about evenly, so it was very successful in that regard.
As you bring in new freshmen, they will be playing with some of USD's veterans. Do you think there will be any conflict between the two classes?
Oh, no. The veterans are the ones that recruited them. We hosted these young freshmen, and they fell in love with our guys, not with me, not with the coaches, not with maybe the B school. They fell in love with the guys on the team, the guys they're going to live with, and these will be their little brothers for a long time, for the next 5 years.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Coach Glenn, for being with us today. If you're interested in learning more about the new recruits, you can head down to Leo's. USD Signing Day event starts at 5:30.
Thanks, Cassie. A creative take on the new food options coming to the Muck is next. Stay with us. One candidate for the Open University Registrar position has dropped out of the race, but two more candidates are still in the running. USD's own Jennifer Thompson and Bethel University's Nathan Davis are the two remaining finalists. Kurt Hackemeyer says both have had what it takes for the position.
A good registrar is first a steward of academic records. I mean, they preserve the academic integrity of everything that the institution does. And you can do that and be pretty mechanical about it. A good registrar communicates that well to the rest of the campus community and figures out what the community needs, how they can best provide it, how they can do it in the most secure way possible. So they're a good ambassador for student records.
Thompson gave her presentation yesterday and says her years of experience are what qualify her for the job.
I kind of started at the bottom and worked my way up to the top, and my hands have kind of been in a little bit of all the duties that a registrar's office does. I also am very familiar with the institution here and all the rules and policies that go along with that.
USD asked both candidates to cover the same topics, and the audience was given time for questions. Nathan Davis will speak a week from today in Dalzell, and the public's invited.
USD's Beacom School of Business announced they have 40 students who've accepted internships or full-time positions at prestigious Midwest firms. That's up from last year's placement of 25 students. Among other occupations were placements in the accounting and finance field. On this week's Coyote blog, John Hines asked why the SGA doesn't find more ways to listen to the students.
The Student Government Association says it listens and wants what's best for students. Well, those are the reasons the SGA used to justify passing last semester's smoking ban resolution. However, neither of those justifications has a basis in reality. The SGA claims that the smoking ban resolution was a response to a poll that seemed to suggest a majority of students wanted a change in the smoking policy. In fact, the SGA resolution cites that 62% of the students who responded to the poll wanted further restrictions to smoking on campus. That sounds like an impressive number until you realize only 1/10 of USD students responded to the poll. So of USD's 10,000 students, 600 said they want more restrictions on smoking. It's good to know that the SGA doesn't care to find out what the other 9,000 students think. The SGA's other assertion, that they want what's best for students, has also fallen flat. USD recently announced that Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A will be joining the list of greasy, salty, unhealthy foods available on campus. Sure, the students voted to bring those businesses to campus, but where was the SGA when students asked for a healthier option to vote on? If the SGA wanted to do what was best for students, why didn't it pass a resolution to include a healthy food option on the ballot? The freshman 15 isn't a joke, it's a reality for many students who come to college. It sure is going to look great on all those SGA members' resumes that they passed a resolution to make a major policy change on campus, but we don't have to believe their claim that they did it for us. For Coyote Blog, I'm John Hines.
Thanks, John. Up next, the Wellness Center is bringing a popular TV show to life. Stay with us. International Film Series is back for the spring semester. The first film, Of Gods and Men, is from Algeria. The film tells the true story of a group of Trappist monks stationed in a poverty-stricken Algerian community. Under threat by fundamental terrorists, they must decide whether to leave or stay. The International Film Series is Wednesday nights at 8 in Farber Hall.
In response to New Year resolutions, the Wellness Center is kicking off a competitive fitness program modeled after a TV show, The Biggest Loser. It's an individual and team competition to see who can lose the most weight in 12 weeks. 45 participants are divided into 5 teams, each with its own trainer. The Wellness Center's Wendy Johnson says the team environment and personal trainers help participants feel more connected to the program.
Instead of just having 45 people come and just feel like they're 1 out of 45 in this big group, they have someone that's holding them accountable, someone that's helping to motivate them.
Members meet 3 times a week for group workouts and are asked to keep daily food logs. Eric Griffith says that he hopes to stay fit even after the program's finished.
The last 4 years of college I haven't really worked out. In high school I almost worked out twice a day because of sports and stuff, so hopefully this will get us on the right track to working out 4 or 5 times a week.
The first place winner in the individual competition will receive 10 personal training sessions and a free massage. The team that loses the most will earn a personalized fitness program. The USD campus is constantly under renovation, and rumors are already flying about what's going to happen at the latest construction project. In December, the Redwood and Cypress residence halls became a demolition site. Skid loaders and cranes now occupy what used to be family housing. Jeff Baylor says he believes it was just a demo site, but rumors of another Coyote Village or a parking lot have been heard. Vice President of Administration and Technology, Roberta Amber, says USD is keeping their options open and no plans have been made yet.
Colin Michael is in his last weeks as SGA president. We're going back to the muck and live reporter Cassie Bartlett to ask him if he accomplished his goals as USD's student body president. Cassie?
I'm here now with SGA President Colin Michaels. Colin, as your term as president comes to an end, how do you feel this year went?
I feel like this year was a really good success for just the students of USD. I think we have a lot of projects that we were able to accomplish and a lot of things that are still going on into the future that are going to benefit the students here.
Are there any last-minute measures you're trying to push through?
Well, as it is the legislative session right now, we're working, be going to peer 3 or 4 times at least this session, working on various bills and issues pertinent to student policy and to higher education as a whole.
What do you think the biggest obstacle will be for the next SGA president?
I think because the position is just 1 year, the learning curve is relatively steep, so just transitioning in, I think, is the biggest challenge, and that's something that our administration, I think, wants to help with quite a bit.
Okay. Thanks so much, Colin. SGA elections for the next SGA president begin February 28th. For Coyote News, I'm Cassie Bartlett.
Sports is up next. Last week, Taylor Moore had advice for coaching the basketball team. Now he's taking on the Super Bowl teams in this week's More Sports.
Today on Coyote Sports, the Wellness Center classes are all over the daily calendar. We'll tell you which ones have to offer and why they're so popular.
The women's basketball team had a surprising upset Monday night, and Taylor Moore isn't too excited about this year's Super Bowl matchup. But first, sports headlines. Lene?
Thanks, Diana. Not only were Coyotes breaking records over the weekend, but the world of sports was filled with them. In the Winter X Games final day, U.S. snowboarder Shaun White surprised the world with the first perfect score ever recorded at the Games. White earned the perfect 100 when he took gold in the snowboarding superpipe. It was White's 5th #1 finish in the event. White now has 12 career gold medals. The Australian Open also saw a record broken as Rafael Nadal fell to Novak Djokovic in the longest final match in history. The match lasted just 7 minutes shy of 6 hours and ended at 1:37 in the morning. Nadal came out strong in the first set, but Djokovic won the next 2. The final set went into extra games and Djokovic won his 3rd straight Grand Slam title. The NFL season comes to a close this weekend when the New England Patriots take on the New York Giants in Super Bowl 46. It's taking place on neutral grounds in Indianapolis, but the Giants believe they have the advantage. Safety Antrell Roll says the team wouldn't have gotten on the plane if they didn't expect to win. The championship game starts Sunday at 5:30. Coyote News sports commentator Taylor Moore will have more on the matchup later, and those are your headlines.
ESPNU has named their Bracket Busters. USD will host Texas State in the Bracket Buster game scheduled for February 18th in the Dome. The men's basketball team was selected as one of the 142 teams in this year's field. Other Bracket Busters include such teams as Butler, Virginia Commonwealth, and Summit League opponents Oral Roberts and SDSU. The Coyotes have only 7 games remaining this season, 6 of which are home games.
The Coyote women earned a big victory on the road Monday night, defeating Summit League opponent Oral Roberts. That broke the 21 home game winning streak Oral Roberts had against conference opponents. Senior forward Amber Hagee led the team with a game-high 24 points. Head coach Ryan Williams says it's the biggest win for the Coyotes since transitioning to D1. If you've been to a class at the Wellness Center lately, you may have found it hard to find an open spot. On this week's Yote Report, Scott Cook checks out the popular classes.
The USD Wellness Center offers a variety of specialty fitness classes designed to help anybody get fit, happy, and healthy. Check it out. The first class we'll look at is Zumba. Zumba is one of the more popular classes at the Wellness Center. But what is Zumba?
Zumba is like jazzercise to like Latin and international music, so it's mostly like salsa and cha-cha and merengue music.
Zumba fills up quickly, and for a good reason.
It's like dancing at a club, but it's a workout.
The next class is TBC.
TBC is total body conditioning, so it's really anything goes kind of a class.
One of the draws for this class is the use of specialized equipment, including kettlebells.
Kettlebells, I think, are one of the more intimidating because they're looking at this thing going, what do I do with that? But after they've been in class for just a little bit, I think they eventually get comfortable with it.
Last but not least, Casado.
Casado involves a little bit of strength training, agility, cardio, kickboxing, a little bit of yoga, and core.
I decided to join this class, and let me tell you, it's tough. I think the instructor says it best.
It's very intense. It's a lot of fun, though.
You know, if you haven't checked out the fitness classes here at the USD Wellness Center, it's something you really should check out this semester. For the Yote Report, I'm Scott Cook.
Thanks, Scott. On this week's More Sports, Taylor hopes for a more exciting Super Bowl than the one in 2008.
The Super Bowl, a competition that's one of the most held sports events of all time. Every year, people from around the world sit together to enjoy one of America's greatest pastimes, football, at its highest level, the NFL. But this year, a lot of people are really upset about the two teams competing to win on Sunday. The Patriots, at one time, were one of America's most admired teams. After 9/11, the Patriots represented the very essence of American patriotism. Not anymore. Now the Patriots are ironically the villains of the NFL. What team wouldn't be after appearing in 5 of the last 11 Super Bowls? On the other side of the field, you have the Giants, a team that was outscored by their opponents in the regular season, but in the playoffs, mysterious forces were at work. The first NFL team to reach the Super Bowl with that dismal scoring record. The biggest issue this year is that these two teams already played a Super Bowl in 2008. Sure, the Giants and the Patriots earned their way to the big show. It's just that many of us aren't too enthused about watching them play again against each other so soon. Would I like to see a rematch? Quite frankly, I would not. To me, it's like watching a rerun of Jersey Shore. I know just about everything that's going to happen. I've seen it, and I don't particularly care to see it again. If you do want to watch the Super Bowl, the game starts at 5:30 on Sunday evening. For more sports, I'm Taylor Moore.
Thanks, Taylor. And that's all for Coyote Sports. Coming up next, test your knowledge of shed days. Stay with us.
Do you know what shed days are? Neither did Teresa Johnson until this week's commentary.
I need to figure out what this shed days is.
And so I set out on my quest. I figured the library was my best bet to find someone who knew what shed days are.
What are you doing?
I was wondering if you know what shed days are.
I have no idea what shed days are.
Me either. What do you think it is?
Probably when people throw people into sheds, like my boss Anna.
Oh, thanks.
Welcome.
Hi. Hi. Do you know what shed days are?
I think it's shred days. It's where they take cheese, like shredded cheese, and throw it in the air and have a party and eat lots of it.
Huh. Obviously that was unsuccessful, so I headed to the ed school hoping for better luck.
Хорошо. Подожди немножко.
Do you know what shed days is?
Девушка, я тебя не понимаю.
After a long and frustrating day, I still had no idea what shed days were. With a heavy heart, I was just about to give up. But then... Teresa. And once again, Doc Farber is keeping his students politically aware.
On this week's Out and About, the Super Bowl approaches, so we were curious to see how students will be celebrating. Here's what your friends will be doing on Sunday.
My favorite thing about the Super Bowl has got to be the commercials or just hanging out with all of my friends, whether my team's in it or not.
My favorite thing about the Super Bowl has to be the commercials, just because they're funny and very original every year.
My favorite thing about the Super Bowl is just being able to get together with people, and despite the fact that I'm not really a football fan myself, it's just being able to enjoy it with other people, and it's, the spectacle of it all.
The commercials, because they're pretty funny.
Let's see, I like the commercials, and I also like when my mom, she starts screaming for her favorite team. It just brings back so many memories.
My favorite part about the Super Bowl is probably just getting together with everybody, hanging out, watching the game, eating some good food. That's about it.
My favorite thing is the funny commercials and hanging out with my friends.
The halftime show, because I love music and stuff, but I'm not looking forward to Madonna because she's old.
Definitely the competition. I mean, just being there with all your friends, being able to see which team's the best, and then when your team finally does win out in the end, it's the best feeling ever.
Packers aren't going to be there. That's all I need to say.
Someone has predicted the Giants will defeat the Patriots in the Super Bowl this weekend. A camel named Princess, the star of the New Jersey Zoo, has correctly picked the winner of 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. She went 14-6 predicting regular season and playoff games this year, and she has a lifetime record of 88-51. A new issue of the Volant hit newsstands today. Pick up your issue to read about rising faculty salaries, and did you know that South Dakota is 51st in the nation for K-12 education? Those stories and more can be found on VolantOnline.com, and you can also check out the Coyote News link on the page. And that's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Also, stay tuned. An encore edition of December's Red Report is up next. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.